I think you sent me some kind of testimonials. You know, I guess that.
That's me. So one picture is probably in 2020, 2016, maybe to the left. And the picture to the right is maybe 2022, 2023. As you can see in my face, I have a lot of inflammation. There's a lot going on. And that's what happens when the body is in chronic disease. The body's going to be inflamed, and that's what allows disease to come in. So that's my before and after. I don't think I have any full body pictures before and after. So that's something I recently started putting as a part of my PowerPoints. So this is Maria Nelson. Maria Nelson on the left, that is in October of 2022, our girlfriend getaway. She was diagnosed with diabetes, 12.4 A1C, and the doctor wanted to put her on insulin immediately. She said, well, wait, I'm going on this wellness trip. And she attended the wellness trip in St. Martin with us. She received the tools to make the changes. The picture on the right is in February. So we're talking about November, December, 4 months later. She lost the weight. She worked on her health. She did all of the things we asked her to do. And her A1C was under pre-diabetic. Within 4 months, she went to requiring insulin to being off of any type of medication. I don't think she ever started the insulin. So she is not diabetic now. She's living with her husband in Panama. She retired from the Pentagon, and she's living her best life right now.
Wow. And there was another young lady who was in the doc series. What was her name?
Michelle Salters.
Yeah, because I think you sent me.
She brought her up.
So that is Michelle Salters before I started working with her. She was diagnosed with high blood pressure, diabetes, she had high blood pressure, and she had lupus. So when we were filming the documentary, Miss Salters started changing so quickly. She was changing before we could even get to the cameras. So she went from being on medication to the fact that within 2 to 3 months, the doctor says, I see no evidence of the uveitis of the eye. She has not had a lupus flare-up since we've started working with her. Technically, she may still have lupus, which is an autoimmune disease, but she has not had a flare-up. She is not on any type of medication. She's made a full type of recovery, but it's something that you have to work on daily. You have to make the decision to choose yourself, to say that, hey, you know what? I want to be here extra 10, 15 years. I think often people leave this earth, and I think that they leave too soon. I think that they didn't have to. I understand that there's an appointed time for everyone, but we make the appointment time a little sooner than what it could be by making those decisions of how we live our lives. So Michelle Salters, I call her the star of the film because that is what she is.
Yeah. And you know what I found, and again, I don't know what her temperament or her mindset was when you met her, because when you get diagnoses and you're going through, right, you could go into depression, you could get anxiety and fear, all those things come into play, right? So I don't know, you can tell us where she was, but she seemed in the film to be so energetic, so excited about the work and putting in the time. And it almost seemed like whether it's you or whoever spoke to her, brought about an awareness of hope. Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because when you get the diagnosis, your first thought is, oh man, I'm gonna die, and so fear and anxiety and all those things are gonna come into play. But yet when somebody comes out of nowhere, I don't know if it was nowhere, but says, hey, you can do this, right? So I don't know. Talk a little bit about was she always that enthusiastic about
Uh, Michelle Salters is amazing. I was on this show called the Here and Now Show, and they were featuring me to share information about the girlfriend getaway. And so her godmother knocked on her door and said, Michelle, you have to get in touch with this woman. You have to call Jacqueline Glass. They're talking about health, and you need to be a part of that discussion. And so she blew up my phone. I remember it was Memorial Day weekend a couple of years ago, maybe now it's probably like 4 years ago. And she was blowing up my phone. And then I answered my phone maybe after Memorial Day weekend, and we started talking, and the rest was history. Michelle Salters is one of the most motivated people that I've ever coached. If I can have every coaching student, every coaching person with her mindset, she is a Christian. She goes to an AME church in East Orange, New Jersey. She has a wonderful community of people that love her. And she's just a wonderful giving person. I had to actually coach her to prioritize herself. I coach her that no is a complete sentence and she doesn't have to say yes to everything. I had to coach her to create some boundaries and put some systems in place so that she can better care for herself. She's a wonderful human being.
Now you talking about the sisters getaway, because the documentary says sisters getting well, right? And so talk about I guess it's the retreats, them. How did you end up launching, the retreats and getting everybody together, to go on the retreats and stuff?
So that's a great question. I am a person that is a gatherer. I love putting events together, gathering folks. In 2020, right before COVID, I had a health and wellness conference in Newark. We partnered with the mayor of Newark, and 450 women came out. We actually had Jeff Red. Jeff came and he was singing to us during the lunch break.
That's my man, Mount Vernon in the house. No.
My classmate, yeah, Jeff and I, we were in the same math class together. And Jeff came out to sing, and we had 450 women, and we started talking to them about health and wellness with different speakers. It was a great, great time. And so after that time, during COVID, I was able to spend some time in St. Martin. And it was so inexpensive to fly. The hotels, they were giving them away because everyone was staying put. I said, if I have to stay put, I want to stay put where there's a beautiful Caribbean beach. So I spent a lot of time in St. Martin. And to me, it was just healing. And I said, I wanted to share this with other women. So I put together an event called the Girlfriend Getaway. 2021, we had about 100 women that attended. We had DJ Spinderella that flew down with her daughter. And she sort of was our DJ. Those pictures that you saw, the one on the bottom was our Girlfriend Getaway 2025, and that was in Jamaica. So we had a much smaller number in 2025 than we did in 2021. 2022, we had about 140. 2023, maybe 100 and something. We went to Jamaica. So each year, we sort of changed the theme, but the focus was always wellness. And we had speakers that poured into the women to tell them how to make the lifestyle changes.
Yeah. And I think, I guess, I guess there has been, how would you say it? Warning signs or flags, for years. And we were talking earlier about, I guess some rappers had a film called They're Trying to Kill Us.
Yes. And my film was a direct response to They're Trying to Kill Us. I downloaded that film a number of years ago and I saw it, and it left me with no hope. It was so sad. It was true, everything that they were saying, but it was so sad. I said, well, we need some hope. So there was one picture. I don't know if you saw Felicia China Richardson, one of the 4 pictures that I sent. Can you put that on the screen? Because I want to tell Felicia's story. Felicia's someone who actually was one of my parishioners at a church in Newark.
Actually, it had her name.
It has a purple dress. She has a purple dress on.
It had a name, but it was the same picture as this one. It was the same one, had the other person's name, but so I took that one off. But you can you got my you can text it to me.
I am not that technology person. I am not that person, but it's fine. But just to tell Felicia's story, even though we don't see the picture, Felicia was diagnosed with pre-diabetes, and the before and after picture is really astounding because you can see her in a little gym suit on the right, and on the left side, she is standing, and she, for 1 year, she started walking during her lunch break. She worked at a school, so she was walking for an hour during her lunch break, Monday through Friday, and she didn't go vegan. She didn't stop eating meat. What she did smaller portions. So she ate smaller portions of food. But as she lost the significant amount of weight, her diabetes is no more. Her A1C is, I think it might be 5.1. So she was able to turn her health around. And it took about a year.
Mm. Yeah. So it's just, it's just getting on the journey. I think the key word is awareness.
Excellent. That's definitely the key word. One of the things I tell folks, we need to know our ABCs. When I say ABCs, A is for our A1C. A1C will determine where you are with your blood sugar levels. Anything above 5.7, you go into the pre-diabetic range. Anything above 6.4, you go into the full diabetic range. So we need to get a blood test and determine what our A1C is so we know where we stand. For the B, our blood pressure. We should know what our blood pressure is. Very easy to have a blood pressure machine where we can monitor our own blood pressure. We don't have to go to a doctor to get a blood pressure reading. We can get a reputable machine and take our blood pressure. It should be, 120/80 is a normal blood pressure. If it's anything higher than that, it's a little high. And then once we make the lifestyle adjustments, we can keep that going. For the C is our cholesterol. Our cholesterol numbers. There's a HDL, which they call the good cholesterol, and an LDL, which is called bad cholesterol. The combination of those numbers should be within certain limits because high cholesterol is linked to having a heart attack. So we want to keep those numbers within normal range. The body keeps score and the body tells us what's wrong. Sometimes we could be eating right. Sometimes we could be exercising. But when that stress hits us, our body will do something else. So it's not only looking at what we eat to reverse disease, and it's not only moving, even though movement is quite important. I say movement is medicine, just like food is medicine. They're saying that sitting is the new smoking. For a person that sits all day, that is just as harmful to the body as smoking a pack of cigarettes every day. Sitting is the new smoking. So we ought to know our ABCs, be on top of our own health, be our best advocates for our health, and look to join communities where that is the focus and get healthy together.
I like that. Yeah. Hey, I want to bring on Brenda. Hey, Brenda.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Brenda.
Hi, Reverend Glass.
So you've been listening to the conversation, so I know you got some thoughts.
Yes. Well, I mean, look, it all starts. Reverend Glass, Lowe's, my husband's testimony, but I always share my husband's testimony, but I want to share my mom's testimony as well. I care for my mom. She has Lewy body dementia. And that's where you have not just the memory loss, but you have the hallucinations and the paranoia and the delusion. And she had with behavior defiance. And she's in the latter end stages of that now. So she's totally dependent now in reference to feeding, bathing, dressing, turning, the whole 9 yards. However, that's a healthy little old bird. I call her a healthy little bird. She's a tough little old bird because that woman, her diet is more healthier and cleaner than mine. Because see, I have access to healthy vegan junk food, and she does not. Because she only eats what I give her, and I give her the best. And and see when a testimony or like when you're teaching others or you're preaching or you hearing the word it also comes back at you. So I said, now I'm doing all this for her. Why? Because I love her and I want her to have the best. Do I not love myself and want myself to have the best? I was like, because that Haagen-Dazs ice cream, there's a plant-based version of that. Haagen-Dazs ice cream. Ben and Jerry, all them Breyers. Everybody's jumping on the bandwagon for health and quote unquote vegan or plant-based. But my mom's testimony, and I give that testimony for her, is that, as I said, she's healthy. In 2019, I had to go to North Carolina to get her so that I could care for her, because that's when her dementia really started and kicked in. And she was like really having a rough time and calling me saying this one is doing that to her, and this person is stealing her money, or this person is mistreating her. And I'm way in New York, so how do I know what's true and what's not true? And she was in a very vulnerable state where people could very well have been doing those things. I'm not saying that they were, but people say, oh, we can do this because nobody's going to believe her because of the stages of dementia. So I went to get her. My mom had high blood pressure, high cholesterol, anemic. She was on medicine for all that stuff, the daily Bear aspirin, and some stuff for her stomach. She was having some stomach problems. And I transitioned her. To a plant-based diet, and my mom is 77 years old, and she has no known medical problems other than the Lewy body dementia. She has, so therefore she's on no medications. And although she's not even anemic anymore, and she just had her latest physical exam inpatient with her doctor, and all her levels are well. So we're talking about her vitamin D levels, and she was housebound at one point, and she doesn't get out, as often as she did when I first started caring for her because of the disability and being in the wheelchair and having to be lifted and moved around everywhere. But I make sure she gets out, but she doesn't get out as often as she used to. But when she went to the doctor, her vitamin D levels are good. Mm-hmm. And when you have a plant-based, whole food, vegan dietary intake, people always like, where you get your protein from? They
ask. That's exactly.
Level is great. And there's also a concern when you have the aforementioned things that I said about your diet, your dietary intake, your B12. My mom's B12 level is great. The doctor actually says, she says, whatever you're doing for her B12, she said, you can kind of cut back on that one because she's over, she's over the range of where she should be for her B12. So, that's my mom's testimony that I can say tried, tested, and proven about a plant-based diet. So everybody come at their own stages. I just pray and try to tell people just don't wait too late. Because sometimes some diseases, a good percentage of our diseases are reversible or preventable. Myself, I live in a preventable state because, thank and praise God that I don't have any known illnesses. So I live in a preventive state. And my mom's mother, so my maternal grandmother also had Alzheimer's. So Alzheimer's dementia is said to be genetics. It's said to be hereditary. Mm-hmm. But I say, and the professionals say, it's the trajectory, the road we travel. So as you said about making that 180-degree turn or that 360 turn, we have to do a hard stop sometimes and turn around, make a U-turn and get on straight street.
That's right. Yeah. Definitely.
Make that hard stop, that U-turn and get on straight street. So that's what it is for me. It's about preventive because I don't have any of the health problems. I'm not on any medications. So it's about preventive for me. And I just, I thank and praise God, for that. And my husband's testimony, for those who have not heard it, because giving testimonies is great. That's how we overcome. We overcome by the testimonies of others. People looking and listening, and they're wondering, how did you do it? Or is it possible for somebody else to do? When we're talking about heart disease, my husband had heart disease issue. And the more I think about it, sometimes I get a little angry about it, because the doctors, we didn't know. My husband and I, we lacked the knowledge. And so the doctors ongoing had been telling him he was on heart medication, that at some point he's going to have to do something about the medicine, or at some point he was going to have to have a heart surgery. But we wasn't like really hearing that. We wasn't hearing it, wasn't understanding it, wasn't processing it. But all these years that he was on this heart medication, until now it came to a point in 2017 when the doctor said to him that he had to have open heart surgery. So when we start thinking, like back in 2013 or whatever, when he was on these medications, had he done something then, would we be getting that diagnosis now at that time? So in 2017, the doctors told him that he had to have open heart surgery. And he was like, nah, babe. He says, I don't want to let them crack open my chest, was his words. I don't let them crack open my chest. I don't want them to crack open my chest. And he said, you know what? And I don't want to live a life of medication either. So he was high blood pressure, the high cholesterol, the heart issues, the daily bare aspirin that they keep telling you to take, the daily bare aspirin and everything. And he said, you know what? Nah, I'm not going to do that. And January 1st of 2018, he did Orville Douglas Fruit Feast Challenge. Lowe's and Patrice know about the Fruit Feast Challenge.
Yeah.
They tried it with me. It's the Orville Douglas Fruit Feast Challenge, where your detoxification and cleansing, because the fruit is at the highest level of food, for us to eat. And he did that with me. And then we went to Texas for a second opinion. People, I'm saying to people, go get a second opinion. Don't panic when you get these diagnoses of whatever kind of disease. I know panic sets in because we're human and we're in flesh, but I'm saying don't react to that first opinion and go and have whatever type of surgeries or amputations or what have you. Go get that second opinion. And we went to Dr. Baxter Montgomery, God rest his soul, out in Texas. And my husband didn't have to have the open heart surgery. They did a small incision in the groin area, which left no scar. And my husband, God rest his soul, when he passed because of some rare defect that he had in the back base of his skull in 2019 that allowed air to seep into his brain. So we don't know how long he had this defect. We don't know if it was something that he had at birth and it was a slow leak or whatever. But what I'm saying is that when he passed, he did not have to have the open heart surgery. And so from, when he made that change, my husband, he's a true alpha dog. Everybody at their own pace. Warning signs, warning. This is not for everybody. He stopped, I say, on a wet street, on a dime. He stopped everything. He stopped his medications, which is not advisable because he was doing those medications for double-digit years. And he stopped with his diet. He stopped eating all meat and animal byproducts. He changed, he turned around, and he never looked back. He prayed because he was a God-fearing man. He prayed, he fasted, and he said, Lord, I've jumped. I just need you to catch me. I need your promises because I've already jumped. He stopped everything and never looked back. He wasn't back on the medications or nothing. And then when we talk about doctors, yes, we need our doctors because at whatever stage and level we are, we need that information. We need that support, but we don't need that to be our sole reason why we make our decisions and become solely dependent upon that. And I say that because when we came back from Texas, the doctor, his cardiologist, my husband's blood pressure and everything was great, heart rate, everything was great. But the doctor wanted to put him back on high blood pressure medications. It's like, why? His blood pressure is not high. And by this time, I'm going to the doctors with my husband. Before he was going, he's a grown man. He don't need me. He's a grown man then, but he wanted me there. And so my husband's kind of like, you know how we listen to the doctors sometimes. Well, I'm like, excuse me, what part of he doesn't want to be on medication did you not understand? And here, what can we do holistically? And like you said, and doctors, there are some doctors who will willingly admit that they are not as nutrition sound with information as we think that doctors know everything. They don't, and they don't get that education. And some of them are honest enough to say that they don't get those hours. They don't get that education in nutrition. So they don't have the mindset, they don't have the knowledge, as much knowledge as we think. So short of it was that, my husband was like, I was like, no, he doesn't want medication. What can we do? And he says, okay, he hummed and hawed the doctor, and he wanted him to get back on the medication. He says, well, you're the patient, so it's your choice, but let's give it a month. And I know that doctor thought that when we came back in a month, that my husband's his blood pressure was going to be up, but it was not. What my husband did was like, he ate a raw garlic clove every day, and he took his bottle that he had his pills in, his blood pressure pills. He said, this is now my new blood pressure medication in this bottle. And he broke the bulb open, peeled those cloves, put them in there, and he ate at least at minimum one raw one every day. When we went back, my husband, that perfect score, Reverend Glass, 120 over 80 was his person. The doctor's mouth opened up, was like, because he was expecting it different. And, and I don't want to go in that direction, but I'm going to go where sometimes it's about the skin color. It's about this right here. They think that we want the quick way out, that we just want to eat the fast food. They're trying to kill us in our neighborhood, or we don't want to take the time to eat healthy or do the things that we need to do, exercise. And so he was expecting that. But no, the things that we needed to do, I did. The hemp seeds, the flax seeds, the chia seeds, sprinkling on my husband's food. It's like you sprinkle salt and pepper. Sprinkle those hemp seeds, those chia seeds. I put it all in a bottle and with a little opening, sprinkle it on, all his food and whatnot. But hey, tried, tested, and proven. Once again, I'll say, and I could my testimony is just, or their testimony. I live through their testimony and share their testimony, mine and my husband. And the truth of the matter, I have a testimony as well, because I'm on no medications.
That's right.
I have no medical problems.
That's right.
So that's my testimony.
Well,
try, test, and prove it.
Yeah. And I want to say thank you because you were on the podcast before. And I want to thank you for introducing us to Jacqueline. And between the two of you guys, man, it's I'm sure people are listening. They will be listening tonight, right? They will be dialing in on as we move forward. And the key is, how do we make people aware? Right. And then how do we get to the point, like Jacqueline said, when she saw the video that they are killing us, the documentary by the rappers, she felt like there was no hope. Right. And she got motivated to bring people hope. And that's what, Sistahs Getting Well, along with the brothers, we get well too. And I'm encouraged, but I tell you, my wife will probably tell you, I'll tell you, when I heard that 40% and that 2050, because of chronic diseases, Black folks ain't gonna be here. Right. So we need to wake up, because they making new sodas, new juices. They making every kind of new burgers. You don't know what's in the burgers.
Well, you think about what's in the Black and brown communities and what's in the stores. And the things that are in the stores are things that perpetuate diabetes and high blood pressure. They're cheaper costs. The advertisement is very bright, and it lends itself to, when you think about from a biblical standpoint, right? When it talks about, something could be pleasing to your eyes, but it may not necessarily be good for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And and so you're looking at the eye gate and the ear gate and the things that you're hearing and saying in our communities. It really promotes things that are unhealthy. And if you look at public health, research in public health, we don't go to the doctors as often. We don't do preventive health. We are what we would call we do more reactive tertiary stuff when we're in dangerous situations, right? And that's really unfortunate, but we've got to do better. We have to do better. And you're saying they're trying to kill us. We're trying to kill ourselves. Sometimes it's not always about what others are doing. It's about what we're doing. If we once we know better, we got to do better.
Can I just say, Sister Moore, you hit the nail on the head. 80% of the foods in our supermarket are some type of processed foods. And they put the worst foods probably right at the counter when you're online paying for the food. They say we have to shop around the perimeters. We got to go to the produce aisle. We got to actually get the real food, whether it's frozen or whether it's fresh. I don't want to have the argument about whether it's organic or non-organic when somebody's eating fast food. So let's get the food, whether it's organic or not organic. Let's get the real food. Let's start eating properly, preparing these meals with food instead of things on a label that we cannot pronounce. Those are things that will cause us harm, cause our bodies harm. But you hit the nail on the head. So the responsibility is ours once we know better, that we ought to do better. But a lot of us, we don't really know better, because now we have an administration that has a new food pyramid. And the base of that food pyramid, they're telling us to eat all the foods with saturated fat. Eat as much butter as you can. Eat as much fatty meats as you can. Eat as much oils as you can. Eat as much of the things that's going to kill us. 95% of America is fiber deficient. We talk about where I'm going to get my protein. Ain't nobody protein deficient, but we fiber deficient, meaning that we don't eat enough beans. We don't eat enough seeds and grains. We don't eat enough foods that will push the things out of our body that's in there. When we eat these meats, particularly processed meats, luncheon meat is a processed meat, and it's also a class 1 carcinogenic. Luncheon meat, I'm going to say it again, is a class 1 carcinogenic. It causes cancer. So when we eat these meats, they stay in our bodies and our stomach for a long time, and they're not able to digest and to come out. So the things that you also mentioned, Sister Moore, the things that they're doing to the food, these industries want to make profit. So they're going to inject the meats with all kinds of antibiotics, growth hormones, and these pigs and chickens, they're like 4 times the size they were when the meats that we were growing up. So if we eat a meat with that has some growth hormones, and we're drinking dairy or cheese that has growth hormones, guess what? We're ingesting the growth hormones. You look at these children, these young girls, young men, they're not the average 12 and 13-year-olds when we were young. I'll be 63 in June. And when I was 15, I think I started developing breast at maybe 14 or 15. At 12 years old, these young girls, they look like grown women. I say 12, but you say 10. But they're eating these foods that's making their bodies grow. So we have to be aware, not just for ourselves, not just for our communities, but for our families.
And may I add something? And I want to give kudos and praise to Patrice for different events that she has held, because when we say like what we need to do something, those of us who know better do better, and then help teach someone, everyone teach one, teach another. And I'm always about our community now, and our leaders, our different organizations and entities that's having events, that's having workshops, seminars, galas, whatever they're having, and they're offering food. Let's start offering more healthier options. People will eat what you offer. And so I want to give kudos to Patrice with different events that her church has held, that she has held, or what have you, where she's always like, all right, let's put some plant-based stuff on there. Let's do some more healthier options. And that's how we start. That's how we start to change. With the different entities. And I want to also give a shout out to, I just attended a Westchester Women's Black Women Political Caucus countywide meeting, and Kobe, this is the first time I've gone to a meeting, anything like that, and there was they have sometimes some fruit. You don't even have fruit and salad is easy. Fruit and raw vegetables are easy, people, with some hummus. Stop it with the ranch based dressing with the animal byproducts. Get some hummus. Everybody eat maybe some hummus or something like that. Just put that out there. But she said, Brenda, did you get some of the fried oyster mushrooms. I was like, what? There's some fried oyster? Because I seen all these bowls of chicken over there, but I didn't see the fried oyster. She said, yeah. She said, because I thought about you. She said, you wouldn't have had anything to eat. So that's the start because of me sharing the documentary of your documentary, sharing when I was on People Before Politics, sharing the piece when I was on, here on the Blueprint podcast. And so people is clicking. And that's how it starts, once again, even with the organizations, by offering healthier choices. And if the truth be told, look, we people of color, one thing we want is some food at a place, and we go eat. We greedy. So whatever food is there, if it tastes good, we eating it. So offer some plant-based options, and it tastes good, people gonna eat it. And lastly, Reverend Glass, on what you said about not necessarily focusing on the organic and stuff. My thing is like good, better, best. So start at good. Frozen is good. Fresh is better. Organic is best. But at the end of the day, organic, frozen is better than some fast food fries if you buy some frozen fries. And then read the ingredients, even on that, because the industry is just really slick. They're always trying to add in oils and extra sugars or additives or whatever. Just read the ingredients. But, look at good, better, best. Where can you start? How can you just every day, every week, every month, like we say the song, day by day, one day at a time, just making progress and change. Good, better, best, work towards that. It don't have to be organic. It can just be the plain non-organic. It can be frozen. Just make the change, people.
Our son Losey has this app, right? And anytime you pick something up, I pick something up, he goes and he scans the back of it. He says, yeah, no, on a scale of 1 to so-and-so, that one's a no. And
the Yuka app. The Yuka app.
Yeah.
So he starts putting it back. Nope, that can't go in your plate. Nope, that can't go.
Yeah.
And
he says, "What's in there? That's what's in. This is what's in it. It's not good.
It's not good." I mean, you know what? It's like you said, it starts somewhere. It's because of him that we started doing. We come in. We get our fruit. We wash our fruit down really good, and then we lay it out on a cookie sheet. Like, separate it, put in a cookie sheet, and then put it in the freezer. And then once they freeze, we then put them in a Ziploc bag, right? And so that becomes, if you want to have a snack or something like that, you take it out. You're not going to eat too much of it because that coldness doesn't, it does something to it, so you don't do it. But I've now started taking my little snack bag. So I have coconut chips. I do coconut chips with usually take coconut chips, almond, pepita, pistachio, cranberry, stuff like that. And I have a little bag, and it has all of my little, so now that's my snack. I do in the morning do a Greek yogurt, like a Greek yogurt, and I'll put some of that in there and put some chia seed in, and that's what I'll do, just to kind of give me some high protein, but also gives me, but my coconut chips are my thing now. Just literally raw coconut chips. That's what I eat. So I've been changing since when, right? Like since about January. I've kind of since January I've done some changes. I'm not vegan, but probably when I'm eating, it's like salmon, things like that. I've been trying to do something. So it's like I said, you got to start somewhere and you work your way to a different place. So definitely doing a lot. I'm doing a lot better.
This was my meal she made me tonight.
I want that. What is that?
Brown rice.
That's
white fish. I see you. Asparagus.
Yes. That's
asparagus.
Yes.
Okay.
So
and some flounder.
Yeah, I had some flounder, but it was covered in zucchini, red, green, zucchini, squash, red, green, and yellow, and orange peppers. Yeah.
See them vegetables?
Yes, and with garlic and and lemon, garlic and lemon. Yeah.
So Jacqueline, talk about, I think you have an event coming up. You have an event coming up?
I'm trying to think. I have a couple of events coming. Oh, okay. So we just had a monthly webinar. So we had it. We just had it on Thursday, And Brenda, you were in there, so you could give testimonial witness to that. We had about 105, 106 women and men on our monthly webinar. We had 2 disease reversal experts, specialists. We laughed, we had fun, we learned. But Brenda, you want to give the highlights of because you are on my health and wellness committee, so you want to give some highlights from the event? And we have the next one on April 23rd. We have Koya Webb, which is a yoga instructor, and she's an author of a best-selling book.
Well, actually, I'm not going to be able to give highlights on the 19th because I was multitasking and I wanted to make sure that we had the ratings, and I'm going back and forth. So I was attending another event, but yet I had my, you have your extra phones, and I had my phone on. And so trying to attend. So I wouldn't be the best person to give highlights of that event, but I can just say of the first one that we had on the 12th that you had, it was excellent. And how we say, it says Sistahs Getting Well, but it's about the men as well. And sometimes the sisters are bringing in the men, but it's about the men as well. And we all are adults here. So we always talk about, the men, the most important thing, one, not maybe to them, I don't know. Lowe's, I'm even gonna put you on the spot, but to men, most important thing is that their sexual abilities. And so, and that people don't realize that deals with your health. And so having the men, we had some men logging on when Sadiq was on there talking about that, and talking about eating healthy and what you need to eat and how it impacts you. And even on the documentaries, Game Changers, they talk about that. They have the young men and the women on there, and they feed them food that's high in fat, and then food that's not, and do the blood levels and the testings, and they put the machines on them for erections and so forth when they're sleeping, and they report it. And the data on that, the data is the data, the truth is the truth. And so it was very exciting to have the people on there and people learning about that, for our men coming on. And our men are our providers, they're the providers, they're protectors, the leaders of the family. Let them lead in that as well. They
came through with that beet juice. Everybody has some beet juice. It's like, listen, I got mine right here. It helps with the blood flow, and they were really kicking that knowledge. We had fun with it. Brandy Harvey, who is the co-executive producer, she's the eldest daughter of Steve Harvey. Brandy just brought the laughter. She just brought the funniness to the show. So we were just that's not a picture of Brandy, but that was my 60th birthday, the picture that you just showed.
Brandy in the black there over here.
That was at the Pan African Film Festival. That was the red carpet. And we just have fun. So we have fun each month. That's when we were in Atlanta at a church in Atlanta that we showed the film. That was after New Birth. We were at Jamal Bryant's church the month before. Boy, where'd you get all these pictures? I'm just loving it.
Oh, no, let me tell you about Patrice now. You come on the show, Patrice will search you out.
No. That's Lowe's this time. That's Lowe's.
Oh, that's Lowe's? Okay, because Patrice will search you out. Go on, Lowe's.
Love it. I absolutely love it. Okay.
He will have everything on you, whatever you might have said, done, written.
Okay. It's public knowledge on google.com. Yeah, but Brandy is, she's my co-executive producer, and we are going around with this film wherever we can get a showing, and usually about twice a month. This month, about 3 times this month, we are showing the film.
Wow. Nah, this is good. And and it's powerful, and I was having a conversation. I can't remember who it was, and they were talking about Chick-fil-A. And I like Chick-fil-A, but I got a different attitude. I think it was Pastor Paul talking about the 25 different chemicals for a chicken sandwich. Man. So McDonald's, I got a different mindset.
And we're not saying that the stuff doesn't taste good. Because I think, to me, when you talk about fast food fries, McDonald's got the best tasting fast food fries to me. And when you think potatoes, and so you say like potatoes are vegan. No, it's what you do with the plant. It's what you do with the vegetable, with the fruit. So McDonald's is soaked in beef bouillon. McDonald's fries are not vegan. Look it up. They're not vegan. So although it's a potato, but I'm not saying that they don't taste good. They taste good, but I don't eat them because I know that it's not vegan for me, and I want to deal with what's whole food, what's plant-based, what's vegan, no animal byproducts, etc. But the French fries taste good.
Give me some French fries that have some vegan French fries.
I have a McDonald's story. Someone found a McDonald's burger somewhere under the bed a year ago. And the burger looked the same from a year ago. It didn't decompose.
Clearly, they don't have any. Clearly, they don't have any bugs.
Problem. I know, right? But it should decompose. That's the problem when it doesn't. So if it does that underneath the bed, what is it doing inside our body? That's and Chick-fil-A. I love Chick-fil-A. It tastes real good, but you can't tell me there's chicken in there. I don't know what it is, but it's not chicken in Chick-fil-A. It just can't be, because I never tasted any chicken that tastes like that.
57 ingredients. That's what Pastor Paul said. Yeah, and you know, I guess the next thing is, you know, we need to figure out, you know, how to transition to transform in regards to how we do our meals, and we need to know what to get, and because we went vegan for like a year, right? Wasn't it a year?
About 9 months. Yeah.
About 9 months until we saw them lamb chops. We
help me, Lord. Listen, he's just telling the truth, y'all. He's just telling the truth.
We went to a friend of ours' house, and he was in Baltimore. We stopped by there to visit, to go on our way to North Carolina. He said, "Man, we made y'all some food," and he grilled. He sauteed those lamb chops for like a week, and then when we got there, he threw them on the grill.
Oh, marinated them.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. She's been eating lamb chops since then.
And I love food cooked on the grill, but most of the time, what you cook on the grill, what's cooked on the grill are meats. But I love food cooked on. I love grilled food cooked on the grill. But you know, you're right, and it's to make the transition is almost like the 12 steps. You know, because food is an addiction. It's like people, places, and things. Sometimes you have to change that up. You know, when you're weak until you get stronger. People, places, and things, because a lot of times I hear people says, yeah, you know, I went to so-and-so and you know, and I fell off, but just know that when you fall off, you can get back on.
Yeah.
You know, just pick yourself up, dust yourself off and get back on. But I think we need to have the mindset of not thinking about what to eliminate, but let's add more to the plate of the healthier things. Let's do a crowd out, a push out, where you're pushing out the things that are not as healthy. And when you have your meats, you know, don't have such a large portion of the meat. Have a smaller portion and more vegetables, more grains on the plate. So it's just adding more things, healthier things to the plate to push out the things that are not as healthy.
And you know what I do? I think we have to change the mindset. Like you said, do we have to have meat with breakfast and meat with lunch and meat with dinner? Does it have to be with all three meals every single day? I think the mindset has to be to go for the most nutritious foods first. When I go anywhere for food, I'm going to look for that salad. I'm going to look for those vegetables. I'm going to look for them first. I may add a little piece of salmon on my plate. I may add a small piece of fish. But I think that, like the Japanese do it, the way that they live off the grains and the vegetables. And the meat is like the special condiment. It's like something extra special. And it's in a small
piece of bread.
What we do that Shoes 16-ounce steak. That goes on the plate first. Then we add some potatoes on there. That goes second. Then we got a little bit of salad or a little bit of lettuce somewhere. No, we need the most nutritional stuff to hone in that first. I don't call myself a vegetarian or a vegan. I call myself a nutritarian. I am seeking to ingest food for its nutritional value. Do I hit that mark 100% every single day? No, I don't. But I'm going to get it 90%. I'm going to get it 95%. I'm going to focus on reversing my disease and staying healthy. And I think that we just have to do some teaching, some educating, and we have to present some foods that taste good. Now, come on, we folks of color, that food got to taste good. Do not bring that bad potato salad to the cookout. They will talk about you bad all day long. But I tell you one thing, I can make the best vegan potato salad. The best, it's going to have celery. It's going to have red peppers, green peppers. It's going to have onions. It's going to have, spices. It's going to have some mustard. It's going to have some vegan mayo. It's going to have some tuna.
relish.
It's going to have all the things where it's going to taste delicious. So not only can food be nutritious, but we got to make sure that it's delicious. If we want to have folks come over, nobody's going to be eating some sad face food that they can't.
Sad face.
So I'm telling you, I work with folks that make that food. They put their foot in it because it's got to taste good.
I remember. So JB Smoove and his wife are vegans, right? And I remember one time we went to New Orleans and we went to this restaurant called the Court of Two Sisters. I think that's what it's called.
Yep.
And they had like a buffet and all this food, all this wonderful food. And she was like, I can't eat any of this food because I don't eat like that. And they were kind of being a little difficult until they realized that was JB Smoove, right? They went in the back and they made her this meal that was beautiful. I mean, it had every color that you could imagine that they sauteed it, and it was divine.
She gave us some. I was like, oh my God. I had never tasted vegetables like that since my mom.
No, it was amazing. And so yeah, we were intrigued by it. So we actually started our initial journey. The first time we did it was actually November 1st, 2021. I remember the day like it was yesterday. We started that journey because that was the day that our granddaughter was born. And we were very adamant and we stayed true to it, like in every way, shape, or form, like you said, until we went down that lamb chop hell. But we went to, and then actually right after that, our youngest daughter got married, and we had to do the food tasting, the tasting for the food.
I didn't taste no food.
That was my secondary slide down the hill. But other than that, I am the person though that does put all the vegetables on before I put on any meat. I could literally go. I do meat. I don't know but I could go without it because I know that I could, but I'm not really like my daughter. My daughter laughs at me because when people have big Thanksgiving dinners, we call ourselves the sides people. Right? We do the sides instead of the and that's kind of how we do it.
And I have been more consistent at eating salads, especially as sweet greens. I think it's sweet greens. That's another. Yeah. Making more trips to places that have more salad focus. And they got to put a new place in Mediterranean place right here in Pelham called GG's.
Okay.
So we've been finding our way to more places like that.
I love it.
And I think one of the things that, I got a little, in terms of what to eat was that when we were doing the vegan project, I call it the project. The vegan project was that, you're going into supermarkets and you're looking, and the sodium of some of these
processed foods,
these packages for vegan food, like the meatballs, and they were just as high in the sodium and different things like that. So you have to be careful that all those products are not good products.
That's a really good.
The vegan junk food, like I said, it's a level of good, better, best. It's good for transitioning, but then a lot of time people get stuck on that part. So instead of eating the animal-based animal itself, they may get a different vegan meat product, and that tastes good as well. But don't get stuck there is the issue. But it's good for a transition because, again, it's that level of good, better, best. So you're not eating the cow, for the burger. So now you're eating, one of those vegan burgers that's the processed ones, the ones that's packaged versus making your own. And then you can make your own. And sometimes, it's not as difficult. It seems difficult. My daughter, Lumi, the oldest one of my children, because she was plant-based first. And then I started, because of her. But she and I was laughing just a couple of days ago. And she was talking about when she was leaving New York and going to Colorado and stuff. And, or when she left to go to Africa, and we had just started, my husband and I. So he didn't cook. I was the cook. God bless his soul. But he looked at me, he depended upon me. So here he is, this man, he's making this transition, and I want to be supportive of him. And so I literally was in tears in one of the food club places. I think it was like Costco, and we was laughing. She brought that up to me, and she said, "Yeah, Mama, you remember the time when you was standing in the store crying because I was leaving? You was like, well, what are me and your father gonna eat?" Yeah, I was like, man, so what are we? Because she was there, so she was there to help me, prepare meals or to cook or whatever. And I'm like, so what are we gonna eat? What are we gonna do? And I was like, literally, crying tears, like, what are we gonna do? Because your father's dependent upon me and his health, and I don't know how to cook these meals and what to do. But you get to that, but it's really not as difficult as we think it is, and we panic. We come in panic mode when making the transition, because remember, just start out with the base. Start out with the potato. That's plant-based. People say, "Oh, I don't eat vegan." I say, you eat apples, oranges, peaches, plums, pears, grapes. That's vegan. You eat white potatoes, sweet potatoes. You eat greens. You eat those things, and that's vegan. It's what we do with it where it becomes unvegan, where it becomes unhealthy. It starts out healthy until we get our hands on it. And then, it's like what you do with it. So that's the mindset, is just, and sometimes keep it basic, keep it simple. It doesn't have to be extravagant. It doesn't have to be something that's just so, like a chef, just plate it nicely. And so I know I plate my stuff, even for myself, my stuff is all nicely plated, because presentation does matter. Mm. But it doesn't have to be like that. Start out basic, start out simple. You eat rice. So instead of white rice, brown rice, or quinoa, that has all the amino acids that we need when we're talking about protein. And I know Patrice says she doesn't like tofu, but I say, don't close your mind off to it, because a lot of times it's how stuff is prepared, the preparation of it. So don't close your mind totally off.
Miso soup, that's about it.
Yeah, and that's soggy. That's soggy. Tofu inside of the soup. It's mushy, it's soggy. So yeah, texture might not be well, because tofu doesn't necessarily have a taste. It takes on the taste of whatever you put it in, and the marinades. Lowe's was talking about those chops being marinated. So you could take the tofu and you let it marinate for a few days in some nice seasoning, and then depends on the way how you cook it. But just remember, start simple, basic. I always tell people, start with what you usually eat, and then just modify. Swap out. I call it the swap. Swap out ingredients of what you eat. If you eat oatmeal, and so maybe you add milk to your oatmeal. Instead of adding animal-based milk, add almond milk or oat milk or whatever type of plant-based milk. And, so just swap out ingredients for the transition. Keep it simple, keep it basic, stay where you are, but just swap out ingredients.
Yeah, this morning, after I finished looking at church, but and went for a walk and came back, and I did some olive oil in there in a pan, and sauteed some spinach, and then made my omelet with spinach omelet.
Well, listen, we're getting there, guys. I like when Dr. Jackie talked about reversing diabetes and because I've been on that pre-diabetes journey for a minute. myself, and unfortunately my numbers keep going up and up, and I started living in a place, and this is what I started saying to myself. So I had to change my language, because I used to say that I'm living in the land of voluptuousville, and I was fighting so hard to get out of it, and so I just kind of resonated that was going to be my destination for a while, and so now I'm coming out of the land of voluptuous, but I'm still going to have some. There's part of my body shape that will be voluptuous. There's not much I can do about that, but I'm going to do it in a way that's graceful. And so yeah, so taking the bull by the horns. I've had a really bad hip. Most people know that I haven't had a bad hip, but it's not a hip that needs to be replaced, which is interesting. So so as I start coming down, it makes it a little easier for me to maneuver and do some of the things that I need to do. So I love it. We have a women's conference coming up on Saturday, and then I have something else coming up in April. I have a tea in April and a women's breakfast in May. So I have a lot of women's gathering coming up over the next couple of weeks, a couple of months. And so hopefully, I would love to be able to maybe, just touch base with you later, Dr. Jackie, about seeing what I can do to get you in.
I'm not a doctor. I do have a master's degree, but they try to give me that doctorate. I am not going back to school for 6 years for a PhD.
We're going to honorary doctorate you.
I'll take it. It's so funny because Brenda Crump and I, we met at her church. I was a speaker at her church, Union Baptist in White Plains.
Yep.
And they showed the movie. We brought, my girlfriend is a chef. We brought a friend from St. Martin, and she made that food. When I say they gave her a standing ovation for that food.
That butternut squash soup.
A phenomenal time. The soup, oh my goodness, just everything was so good. And she did with herbs, spices, and that's where we met. And I would love to talk to you, Sister, more about coming to Westchester and showing the film and whatever we can do to raise awareness. Because they say a picture's worth 1,000 words.
Amen.
But a video is worth hundreds and hundreds of thousands of views and impact. We are a world that we look at videos. So that's very important.
I want to show you. So I got a picture while we were on showing food. Reverend Viviana DeCohen just sent me that and said, we're on a journey too. And look how colorful those sides are. The fruit and the spinach letter and the avocado and whatever that meat is. I'm not sure. It looks like
salmon steak. That's salmon steak.
Yeah,
that looks like salmon.
That is
salmon
a meal.
steak look good.
That's a beautiful meal. So you know what? We're all on it. We're all on this journey. I tell people, like, even when I'm doing my workout, it's not a destination, it's a journey. And I'm on it for a minute. So
and we're working now on trying to get because as Reverend Glass said about the picture and the video, and we're video people. We're put it in a book. People will read. Not many people maybe will read it, but you have it on a video. They may watch it. But then also when you have screenings and you have the actual person there, so it's just like bringing it up in the level of it each time, your level of your presentation and so forth. And so we're working with Reverend Glass, trying to get her here, and the president of the board of trustees for the library, Mount Vernon Public Library, to have a screening. So, nice. That's something that we all can kind of, partnership in together and support, together and have some food there. Because I know the president, Hope Marable, she's always have food and kudos to her and props to her as well when she's having different things that she offer options, plant-based options, things that's not meat and does not have animal byproducts as well. Once again, offering options, healthier options to the community. And she does that at the different events that the library hosts. And they have refreshments. They have full-on meals or what have you, or just light refreshments. She's always including that. So there's always something there for me when I go. But it's not just me. It's about, because I say me, but it's not just about me. It's about the community. Because as Lo says, I'm about, my community, and I'm about health and wellness for us all. And so I just want to, give that shout out to her and thank her for being mindful of that about the community and providing healthier options. And that's something that we're working on. We're trying to get Reverend Glass here for a screening at our Mount Vernon Public Library.
Awesome.
Sistahs
Awesome.
Well, of course, we went over, and it was a good thing to go over, right? You like to go over when there's good things, right? Good messages. So, as my wife named you, Dr. Glass, an honorary doctor.
Okay, I'll take it.
And Brenda, I want to say thank you to you guys for the opportunity to have you guys on tonight. And because, every time, you walk into a CVS, Walgreens, the most packed in those places are the pharmacy. People are lined up, and there's thousands and thousands of medication being given out every single day. And I just felt bad, and then when you look in, you can look just in the house of worships, and you look at the disease and people that got, heart disease and diabetes and blood pressure and all those kind of things, and can't get around and can't move. It is just sad, and God did not intend for that to be. So we can definitely use the church to step up, and be a place where there's real transformation, spiritually, mentally, and physically.
Yes.
And financially.
Yes.
So again, thank you guys for joining me tonight. And I want to say thank you to those who watch the Blueprint podcast each and every week. Hey man, I love you guys. I look forward to seeing you next week. I think I got a video. I'm not coming back. Once this video comes on, once I show the video, I'm not coming back. So I want to say, as I say each and every week, if the Lord allow you to wake up tomorrow, make tomorrow your masterpiece. God bless you, and I'll see you next week.
Thank you. Eat healthy. Which one, babe? You got two.
What is a woman?
Okay.
We're honoring women on the way out.
Okay.
Right.
Well, how about we do the other one first? We're gonna
we're gonna show this quick one
show
right
this
here.
one. Hold on. I thought that was cool. I thought that was kind of cool. I said, you better go ahead and double dutch.
Double dutch. You guys are investigative reporters. That's what y'all are. Y'all find stuff.
I was like, wait, when did you do that?
That was when I was 60, so that had to be 3 years ago. I'm a part of a group called 40 Plus Double Dutch. It's
Wow.
women over 40 that jump double dutch. They have a Westchester branch, Bronx. They have sub clubs all over the country. And, the youngest member is 40, the oldest member is 93. And we just have
crazy.
Awesome.
fun.
Wow. She was jumping that rope, girl. I loved
All
it.
right. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
What is a woman? Is a woman bold?
How dare you?
Is she courageous?
I was arrested on December 1st, 1955.
She's a fighter, risk taker, lawmaker,
Were always rationalized as favors to women.
educator, creator.
Anybody asked what I thought, I would write it.
You see a woman, she's a leader.
We, the people, have the power to build a better future.
She's a believer, high achiever,
Thank you for this award.
more a giver than a receiver. Woman of hope
For there is always light if only we're brave enough to see it.
for the next generation to not be so cold. Women give love,
I've given it to everyone I know. I love this book.
women give light. Women are the essence of life. Is she everything that we said she wasn't?
Who will have the power to shape our children for the next 4 or 8 years of their lives?
Or is she everything that she said she wanted? Just look in her soul. We can see her light shine. What is a woman?
We really hope you enjoyed this episode of Lowe's More, the Blueprint Podcast. Stay connected and follow us at our website, www.lowesmore.com. That's LOWESMOORE.com. You can also join the discussion on Twitter at Lowe's More and on Facebook at Lowe's More Jr. As always, thank you for pushing your mindset towards a better reality. This concludes the most thought-provoking portion of your day. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this podcast to stay fully up to date with everything we're up to. Until next time, be kind to yourself and each other.